So about like 3-4 weeks ago, just noticed the wall is like super barren and it's annoying me, so I'm gonna put something there. That'll do for now. So about 3-4 weeks ago, I went to a, where did I put it? So about 4 weeks ago, I went to a video game store, a used video game store. It's called Vintage Stock. They've got locations all over the Middle West of the United States, and I bought this 8 megabyte PlayStation 2 memory card because I had run out of space, as I have been consistently running out of space, on the two 8 megabyte memory cards that I received with the PlayStation 2 that I bought in the winter of 2005 from the Best Buy that has now closed down and is now a Dick's Sporting Goods outlet. I actually pass it on the way to work every day. I can probably take a video next time I go out there and show you what it looks like. Yeah, this is the Best Buy I was talking about. It's a Dick's warehouse now. Really creepy, dead silent, but I got a sweatshirt for $20, so hey. Anyway, these are the only two memory cards I have had in my possession for the PlayStation 2 since February of 2005. That is 15 years. I am 25 years old and nearly, what is the math on that? 3/5? Yeah. 3/5 of my life, 60% of my life has been spent with only this much storage capacity on the PlayStation 2 till I got this bad boy. And it awoke some feelings in me because, you know, with when you get like a used memory card, the people at the store don't go through and just format it, you know, don't go through and delete everything. And it brought something kind of interesting to my attention, so that got me to start writing. And then from there I started filming, and I started editing audio, and I started recording audio, actually in the opposite manner of those two, in the opposite order. There we go, that's the word. And I got to the point where I, had started editing the entire video, probably got about 70% of the way finished with the video, and then Adobe Premiere crashed and the file became corrupt, and to blow off steam, I made a 2008 style YouTube poop with the opening cinematic from Hotel Mario, which I will play now.
Nice of the princess to invite us over for a picnic, eh, Luigi? Luigi! Look! Look! Luigi! It's from Bowser! We gotta find the princess! And you gotta help!
So out of frustration, I'm just going to kind of ad-lib this video. I think just kind of get my real emotions and thoughts out of my soul for you here as I talk about these two memory cards that I had and my experience with the one memory card I just bought. I really don't need to keep swapping them out. I think you get the gist. Memory cards are kind of a weird aspect of gaming that do not exist anymore, particularly the proprietary memory card. Proprietary. Something like this you have to buy from Sony or from Nintendo or from Microsoft, whatever, that only works in that machine, generally just doesn't exist anymore. With the advent of the USB flash drive, with the advent of SD cards, with the advent, of course, probably now, of the cloud storage capacity that comes with most modern consoles, these have been rendered virtually obsolete. They go the way of many other peripherals, many different kind of proprietary aspects of gaming from the late 2000s, the Guitar Hero guitar, the Tony Hawk Ride board.
That's wicked, dudes! Check this out! Whoa.
the keyboard that goes on the bottom of your Xbox 360 controller, the proprietary camera that every console had their own. There was the iToy and the Xbox Vision or whatever that was, and the PS3 had its own. It was, you know, weird time in gaming. A whole bunch of that stuff is just obsolete now. And I don't think it ever kind of got like a proper send-off that was just kind of there one day and then gone the next. I mean, the Xbox 360 had a proprietary memory card slot, and then that was 2005, and then in 2006, when the other two consoles, the PlayStation 3, Nintendo Wii came out, those did not have proprietary memory cards. So we can actually pinpoint the death of the proprietary memory card as November 2005. What was weird was how I just kind of put up with these two, like they were my children, for 15 years. Games, I mean, I played more games on the PlayStation 2 than 16 megabytes were able to handle. For the most part, I played sports games, stuff like that, you know, the NCAA footballs, the Maddens, and, you know, the PS2 got all the cool exclusive sports games. It got, you know, the sequel to the arena football game, stuff like that, which nobody's interested in except for me. But I filled these two guys up probably within like 2 years. And basically since then, I've been in a constant limbo of deleting old saves, saving new saves, then deleting those new saves to make space for more new saves. These have probably had 10, 15 times as much capacity stored on them at some point as they can handle. Now, at the same time that I had the PlayStation 2 for a period of time, it was only about a year overlap because I sold it near the end of 2006. I had the original Microsoft Xbox. The Xbox had like a hard drive, I think it was 80 gigabytes. I'll put the actual number on the screen right here. Which was significantly more, obviously, than the 16 megabytes that I have here. Pretty paltry by today's standards, obviously, but on that, I could save, you know, 5 or 6 concurrent franchise modes in ESPN NFL 2K5, and it wasn't a problem. With these two, I basically just had to be in this constant limbo of never having enough space. It was a constant in my life. It was just the truth. Anytime I turned the PlayStation on, anytime I got a new PlayStation 2 game and I wanted to save the file, I wasn't certain that either one or both of these was completely full to the gills, all 16 megabytes with, like, you know, a Madden 2004 franchise I started a year and a half ago and forgot about. So what this guy represents is freedom, I think. I mean, it was $10, thing on the back there, and now I can save stuff in peace, at least until I fill this one up and I have to go get another one. They actually had a higher capacity one, but I like the way that these look, and I trust the OEM. You know, I trust Sony to make the properly effective memory card in a way that I wouldn't trust, you know, Mad Catz or Nyko or Intech or Dream Gear, you know, whoever else was putting out memory cards at the time, and what was a surprisingly crowded memory card market at the time, because I mean, like, you really had to innovate on this. This was not enough. 8 megabytes was never enough. I mean, hell, the GameCube standard memory card that came out at launch was 512 kilobytes, which is not even, I mean, obviously it's not even a full megabyte. It just said it was half of a megabyte. It just said it was 512, you know, 124, whatever. Which was just ridiculous, because even at the launch of the GameCube, there were games that came out that needed the capacity, that needed more capacity than that. I remember, like, Madden 2002, if you had a season mode, it was like over a megabyte of data necessary, and the GameCube memory card could not save that. So there was just games out there for a while until, like, the third-party companies, you know, Intech and Dream Gear and all those that I just listed off a couple of minutes ago. I'll just play that again. You know, Mad Catz or Nyko or Intech or Dream Gear. Until those came along, you just couldn't save those games. You could play it, it was completely functional, you just couldn't save it for a little bit because you didn't have an outside piece of hardware that you needed to bring into the fray in order to save the game. Which is just ridiculous. I don't think you could ever have that happen now. I mean, it's so, everything's kind of connected, you know, with the internet, and it's all kind of on board. Now it's annoying, you've got to, like, install stuff, but there's nothing like that where your game is completely functional. You just can't save your progress because the product that you need to save your progress does not exist. That's never going to happen again. What was really interesting about this, though, was when I put it into my PlayStation 2 to just, you know, make sure it was working or whatever, I came to find that basically all 8 megabytes were full. I did not buy this new. I bought this used, and weirdly enough, I was able, in a weird sort of voyeuristic sense, to get an understanding of the person who owned this memory card before I did, which feels very bizarre. Things I know about him: his name is Ian. That's because all of his files were named Ian. His favorite game series were SOCOM, Medal of Honor, and the James Bond 007 games, as well as Guitar Hero and NBA Street. I believe he had NBA Street Volume 1 and Volume 2, and then he had whatever the Konami NBA game was. He had like a season saved in that as well. This guy's saves lasted from 2004 to 2009, I believe, which is like a pretty good chunk of time. That's like 5 years of a person's life. That's nothing. This is, I mean, I'm 25 now. What I was doing when I was 20 was completely different from what I was doing now, filming videos by myself in my apartment. But it was just weird that I know that about this person now. I'll probably never meet Ian, who owned this memory card before, and I kind of felt bad about deleting his save data, because when I look back at these, that kind of prompted me to go back and look actually through what was saved on these, and it was weird and nostalgic and kind of warmed my heart to see what was back there, because I was going through those saves and remembering, oh yeah, I remember when I had my NCAA football from whichever year it was, like when I was in the 9th grade, and I bought I already had a copy of NCAA 05, and I was playing through like 6-7 seasons in it over the course of a fall because I had nothing else to do. I was 14 years old, I had nothing but time, and for whatever reason I just didn't want to go buy the new NCAA game, because I think because they were very bad at that point in time. There was like a 3-year period where those games were just absolute garbage from like 2007 to 2010 on the Xbox 360, so I just stuck with the PS2 versions. I was going through that and I was remembering that, and I found my Tony Hawk's Project 8 save, and that's a weirdly important game to me in history, because I remember buying that at a Target. I bought that new, which is actually another weird thing. I went through my brain palace, and I can think of maybe like 6 games that I bought new for the PlayStation 2. NCAA Football 2007, the one I just mentioned, Tony Hawk's Project 8, Maximo Army of Zin, which I bought on clearance at a Best Buy, I think for $5 in 2012. Karaoke Revolution, which I don't have anymore. Lego Star Wars, Guitar Hero 1, Guitar Hero 2, Rock Band. That's 8. So I had 8 games that I bought brand new at the time. Most of them were peripheral related, and I don't own copies of them anymore. So it's only fitting, I guess, that I would get like a used memory card like this, because everything else I had on the console was used. I think the second game that I bought for the console, which I remember was NCAA Football 2002, which I bought at a Blockbuster, I think for $6, because I wanted a football game and it was the only one they had in stock at the time. Now that Blockbuster's closed now. This is the other weird thing, is that Blockbuster's closed now. The game store where I bought a number of games at the old mall where I used to work, that mall is demolished now. Obviously the Best Buy I bought it from is a Dick's Sporting Goods outlet. I'll play that clip again. Yeah, this is I'm kidding. That would have been funny though, if I just played that entire clip, but I've already, I think, used up all of like the goodwill I might have with that in this video. There's one other place. Oh yeah, the original vintage stock. This wasn't, I didn't buy this from the vintage stock I went to all throughout childhood. That one's closed down. That's a hospital now. And what's more fitting than video games getting replaced by going to that's not fitting at all. I don't know what I'm talking about. Weirder still, these two, I've had these memory cards since I bought the console, obviously. I don't even actually have the original console anymore, nor the controllers that came with it, because those two broke. Video clip. I'm not proud of that, and I don't do that anymore. And I'm happy that I don't do that anymore, but I cannot deny that it was an aspect of my personality at one point. And I think it's important that I get that out, make that clear to people, and say that you can change. If you're throwing your Xbox 360 controller, it's not that anymore. If you're throwing your Xbox Series X controllers on the ground and costing yourself $80 every time that you do so, I want you to see me, look at me in the eyes, and see you too can save yourself some money. Just kind of calm down, take a breath, put the controller down next to you, and I'm just going to count to 10. Remember that you are an adult man and you are playing video games too intensely, and that is something the deep shame will kind of come through you. You can kind of sit, it'll vibrate for a little bit, it's a really weird sense of vibration, and then you can grab the controller and keep going, and then get mad again and kind of repeat the process. The process repeats about 6 times every 2 hours in my experience. But I think the weirdest thing is that this has kind of prompted me to go back. Like, I don't think the PlayStation 2 was a console that meant a lot to me. As I hold up this game, I had not previously mentioned. This is NCAA Football 2002. I've had this since I got the console. It is the oldest game that I have. Again, I mentioned I bought it at a Blockbuster. I guess I can replay that clip too. And man, is it weird, because I don't think about how much of my life I still have from back. Actually, no, I very often think about things in my life that I still have dating back then. Actually, I can go get one of the few artifacts of maybe 15 plus years of my life. It's back here. This CD case I won at the arcade at Worlds of Fun theme park in Kansas City, Missouri in the summer of 2002. I have used it intermittently ever since. I've got games upon CDs, upon DVDs, got the Jillian Michaels 30-Day Ab Shred in there. It is falling apart, but it still holds strong. I've had it for about 18 years. Maybe the oldest thing that I still use on a regular basis in my possession. There's that, and I made a stool at summer camp in 2001 that still sits in my bedroom. And that's about it, really, though, that I'm still connected to that me that far ago. But even less so than like products that I still use from back in the day, fewer are the phenomena that still exist from back when I was a child. And it hit me as I bought this that I had freed myself from a period of my life, a 15-year period of my life, where the general truth was that I did not have enough memory card space for any PlayStation 2 game that I had. And that period of my life is over now. And there's something not sad about it, because I'm not sad about it. It is just weird to think about that I put up with this with only having 16 megabytes, routinely playing games that took 2-3 megabytes per save file, filling these up constantly. I think I've said that 7 or 8 times already in this kind of ad lib. I put up with that for 15 years, and now that part of my life is done, and I don't really know what to do. And I also don't really know where this goes. I didn't write a conclusion to the actual script that I wrote, and I'm going off script as I speak into the camera here. So, thanks, I guess, to these memory cards. A shout out to Ian. Hope you're doing good, you know. Hope you, when you think back on your memories of your PlayStation 2 games, I'm sure it comes down every now and again. You're like, oh man, I remember playing GoldenEye Rogue Agent with my friends. I apologize for deleting your save file. I mean, obviously it doesn't mean anything to you anymore because you sold the memory card, but I hope you think back fondly on the things that you saved here, and thank you for selling your memory card to the used game store and allowing me to take part in this experience. I guess that's where I'm going to end the video. I think that's a salient point. I hope that's a salient point. Me editing this later on, tell me if that point was salient. Give me a score out of 10. How salient was that point? Also, is salient the proper word? Tell me that. There. I'll see you around. Have a good, whatever holiday is closest by the time that I get this out. We'll put that right here. And have a good one. Isn't there something I say? As far as I know, that's all.